Hello, everyone. This is Rose from the Book of Life. Thank you for joining me here for my first podcast debut. I appreciate you being here and joining me. Today's topic is it a new gen versus old gen way of thinking when a daughter tells her single mother that she isn't equipped to give her relationship advice? Mm, let's get into this one because it is definitely a juicy one. Now, one would think, why would a daughter feel her single mom is not equipped to give her relationship advice? Why? What does her status of being single have anything to do with her having wisdom? Why can't she give her some relationship advice? Mm, let's see what happens. So Betty is my cousin. She has a daughter named Janice who is 25 years old. Betty is my first cousin, which means Janice is my second cousin. Now, Janice recently graduated from college with a degree in business management. Janice, when she graduated from high school, she told her mom that she wasn't ready to go to college. She told her mom she needed to take some time to find herself. She needed to find herself. So I took that as, okay, she fresh out of college. She tired of school. She don't want to go to school no more. She's not sure what she want to do in life. She's confused because this is a point in life where now you are a grown as woman at the age 18 and you got to start acting like one. And maybe she's scared. And maybe she just needed to just stay low for a minute so she could figure out what it is she really wanted to do in life. That's understandable. And I'm glad she has the type of mom that she has that allow her to do that. So Betty did. She gave Janice the time that she needed to find herself. Janice, it only took her 2 years. I think that's pretty good. Because some people, some kids, they'll graduate from high school and they'll lay on your couch for years before they find themselves and decide what it is they want to do in life. So for Janice to be able to accomplish that in 2 years, I think that was very good. So when Betty was keeping me informed, yeah, usually when I go over there, Janice is doing what she do, laying on the couch. What they do, what they looking for themselves. They don't know what it is about that couch that helped them find themselves, but it took her 2 years to do it. But it's like, don't you have a room you can go to and close your door and find yourself? But she would be on that couch. So me and Betty would have to hang out at the dining room table because Jenny would be laying on the couch. But anyway, let me go back to the story. So now, Betty, being the sweet mom that she is, she stayed out of her daughter's dating life, social life during the course of those 2 years. She allowed her the freedom to find herself. So Janice, she pretty much didn't talk to her mom a lot about anything. She really didn't, and her mom didn't press any questions upon her. It was just pretty much a simple dead 2 years, just laying on that couch. But the weird thing is, it worked. How that happened? It worked. She found herself. Janice actually found herself because after those 2 years, Janice was ready to start college. She was ready to go to college. And the thing is, during those 2 years, She was not social that much. She didn't go out and party. She didn't go out and drink. She didn't go out to clubs with her people from high school. She made occasionally a talk to them, or invited them over to the house for them to cook hot dogs in the backyard and swim or whatever. But that was pretty much it. So for her to lay there and find herself and decide she ready to go to college, I think that was wonderful. That's an act of God. That's outstanding. So Betty was happy to hear that Janice had found herself, and she was more than willing to help support her daughter in college. So the first year, so that means Janice was 20 when she started college. Now that first year of college, Janice was like the normal person in college. Go to school, come home, do her work, not socializing much. But after that first year, Betty began to notice something different about Janice. Janice was totally different. It was like she wised up. She became very mature. And I mean, she was wearing this crown. She was wearing a crown that stated, if it had words on it, I am a grown ass woman. Take notice. I am a grown ass woman. And she had a new attitude. I mean, she had a new strut when I saw her after that first year of college. And I get into that later because I don't want to take away from her doing using wisdom after that first year, because she began to talk more to her mom after that first year of college. She began to share things with her because she was not one that talked about her personal self to her mom. She never shared any information about her and her friends or anything. But after this first year, she began to talk to her mom, and she began to say how immature her friends were, her high school friends were. Because Betty would ask her, your friends would come over occasionally. Y'all cook some burgers or hot dogs on the grill and you swim. But how are things going with your friends? She wanted her mom, Betty wanted her daughter to have a social life. She would ask her little things, and her daughter would stay quiet. But she began to talk a little bit more after that first year, talking about how she felt they was just too immature for her. And she felt that their only interest in life was drinking, partying, and fighting. So the mom was like, okay, I get that. And I see you focus, and I don't want them to take you away from your focus of being at college. And so her mom, congratulated her for her being able to use this wisdom and to think outside the box and to not allow her friends to hold her back from accomplishing her dreams in life. Kudos to her. That's beautiful. But I noticed something different when I came over there. I applauded her for thinking that way and for making that decision. But I noticed something different. She was strutting differently. A mother knows the walk of her daughter. And when something took place that made the daughter to act differently and to wear that crown that say, I am a grown ass lady. I am your equal now. You can't tell me nothing. I know that walk. I know that look. I knew it, but I wasn't going to tell Betty. Mm-mm. I was holding that one to myself. Because, see, I'm not judging her, but I'm picking up stuff. I'm discerning stuff. I'm seeing stuff, but I'm not going to judge her. As long as she's on the straight and narrow and she's thinking with wisdom and she wants to be in school, okay. Mama is there for her. Mama is allowing her to do it. Beautiful. I love it. I'll keep in mind, commentary to myself, my opinion to myself. I'm not saying nothing. I'm being here for her mama, supporting her mama as her mama support her daughter. But as stated, after that first year of college, when she got into that second semester, oh, she really turned it up a notch. Janice turned it up a notch. That grown ass lady attitude was on high. It was on high when she got into that second year of college. Because the thing about that was she began to strut with a little bit different, with the shoulders up and the back pulled back and the shoulders up, the head held high. She began to really strut, and she changed in her attire. She changed. And that's fine. But it's like those are the things that a mother look at and pick up on what's going on with her daughter when the daughter or her kids, period. But I'm speaking of the daughter because this is about Betty's daughter. But when her daughter don't really talk, but a mother can just observe her kids, just observe, and she can pick up a lot because she knows her babies. And I hear I'm not the mom, but I'm picking up a lot. And I'm not saying nothing to Betty because I don't want to put nothing in her mind that she don't see. Find it out for yourself unless it's something to hurt her. If in other words, what I'm saying is, if something is happening that's hurting her daughter, then I'm gonna speak up. But because I don't see that it's hurting her daughter, then I'm gonna stay silent. I'm not gonna say nothing to Betty what I suspect and what I see. So I figure in time it's gonna tell itself. So I'm just going to see how on it I am with picking this up. But anyway, after Janice gets into her sophomore year, her second year of college, she, like I said, new attitude. And at the end of that sophomore year, she decided she was ready to move out of her mom's house. She wanted to move out. She wanted to, really become her own person, is what she told her mom. And her mom was there to help her. She was like, well, Betty was like, let me help you find a place. Let me help you decorate. No, Janice was pushing her mom away from her. She didn't want her mom to help her find an apartment. She didn't want her mom to help her decorate. And the mom is paying for everything. Because Janet's not working. She's going to school full time. So the mom is paying. But she's giving her daughter that freedom. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I would have been that mom. I'm paying. I want to see where you're moving to. I'm different. That's where I'm different at. Because I would have been like, if my money is paying for this apartment, I want to see what I'm paying for. I want to make sure you got an apartment. So you're gonna have to take me there. I need to see you sign that lease. I need to see that lease. I need to see what you need in there, and so forth and so on. So I'm a little bit different. Well, I'm just gonna say different. But anyway, Betty allowed her daughter to move without telling her where she moved and without showing her apartment. I love Betty. She's so sweet. She just let Janice do her only child. She let her do her. She trusts her baby to do her. After all, she spent 2 years on that couch finding herself, and she came out and wanted to go to school. So I can understand why she allowed her to be herself, and she trusts her. So now, 2 years in, after 2 years, Janice is now in her third year of college. And I'm looking at her and I'm saying, oh, yeah, she's still going hot and heavy with whoever this person is in her life because she's sounding like an old person when she talk. Well, let me say, I take that back. She sounded like a mature person when she speaks. I don't want to take away from you young people when y'all start sounding mature. I don't want to downplay that, okay? So forgive me for saying she sound like an old person. She sound like a mature person. I'm sorry. As I stated in my introduction video, I speak 4 languages fluently. I speak English, Hood, Ebonic, and Country. So sometimes I phrase words that make it sound like I'm judging or I'm downing. That's just the country in me. That's just the hood in me, you know? So bear with me as I tell you this story. But anyway, so Janice is now sounding very mature and wise. And she's in her 3rd year of college, and her mama haven't been over to her apartment or her wherever she lives and seen where she lives. But she's strutting even bigger strut now, and she's speaking with more wisdom than ever now. And cousin Judy, mm, I'm just taking it all in. And I'm smiling with my cousin Betty, and I'm not saying anything because I'm going to stay out of it. Okay. So now Janice is starting to feel like her and her mom is equal. So she talking to her mom like she's her best girlfriend. And Betty is loving it. Betty is loving it. Now she began to want to talk more about her social a little bit more. And Betty feels comfortable with her now that Janice is opening up and saying some things that she is socially doing. Betty loves it. Oh, she's opening up to me. She's starting to tell me more. So Janice only knew her mother to be in 2 relationships, and that is with her father. And then after Betty got a divorce from Janet's father, she started dating this older man. He was old. Okay, now I'm old because, like I told you in my introduction, I would be 67 this year in July. So, I mean, when I say old, I say it respectfully because I'm old too. So, when I say old, I'm just saying if they old, they older than me. If I call it old, they older than 67. And see, Betty being 50, he was older than me. He was old. So she was dating this guy, and she had been in a relationship with this guy for 10 years. So now she feels comfortable with talking to her daughter since her daughter opened up to her about her social, but she's not telling her if she's dating. Janice wasn't telling her if she was dating right away. She was just talking about things she was socially doing. And so Betty felt comfortable. And she's telling her about the guy she had been dating for 10 years, the old man. I call him the old man because he was old. He is old. And she was telling her daughter about how his kids is getting ready to take over his estate and take him to live with them because, God bless him. He got Alzheimer's disease. That's a serious disease. And that's not a disease that I wish on anybody. It's very hard to deal with someone that has Alzheimer's because you're constantly scared. You're scared that they may wander off somewhere. They may not remember where they live. They can get hurt because they can't remember to tell nobody about how, who is their family. It's scary. So I was glad to hear from Betty that this person had kids that loved him enough and was able to take over his estate and bring him into their home to care for him. I was really happy to hear that because he may be old, but he's a good man. Very good man. He was good to Betty for those 10 years. So now Betty is ending this 10-year relationship and she has her daughter now that she can talk to. And her daughter only know her to be with her dad and this guy for 10 years. So as Betty and her daughter Janice are becoming more closer. Betty, like I said, she's a good looking lady. Someone younger than her hit it on her. He approached her and she started dating this younger man. Now, this younger man, Betty being 50, this younger man was like much younger than her, like 15 years younger than her. So, but she didn't want to tell her daughter how old this young guy was. But it made Betty feel a certain kind of way. She was already beautiful, but it made her feel it. She felt her beauty now. She can see that she was a good looking woman with a good figure because this young man made her feel that way. And I was happy for her that she felt that way. And she was being able to giggle and laugh with her daughter and talk about things she was doing socially too. Because now that she's not with the old man anymore, she's getting out the house and doing young things that a person 15 years younger than her wants to do. And it's at the level of what her daughter is now doing. So now that her daughter is doing similar things that her mama is doing, they becoming besties. They becoming the best of friends. So they talking to each other about each other social, you know, what they doing socially without giving too much details about who they dating. Cause Betty ain't gonna tell her baby girl that she dating somebody that's almost her age. This man is 15 years younger than his mama. And but the thing is, Janice began to open up more and more and more to her mom as her mom became her bestie, as they began to share the wonders, the beautiful wonders of life. So Janice, now her and her mom has set this thing, this come to this agreement that they're not going to go a week without coming together to have dinner. They understand they would get together every Sunday. Sometimes they would go do a little shopping together, shop for some clothes. And here Betty is buying clothes that Janice age attired for her age. And Janice is buying clothes that's her mom age attire. They swapping, you know. Betty buying younger clothes, Janice buying older, mature clothes. And Betty's talking young and Janice talking old. I thought it was cute. It was funny to see it because I'm watching this picture before my eyes, how Betty's acting younger and Janice acting older. But it was the funniest thing. But I stayed quiet. I didn't give my opinion because, like I say, I don't judge nobody. But anyway, Betty and Janice are kikiing every week, every Sunday at the restaurant, talking about their life. And I just love that for them, that they are hanging out and they are getting along and they having things in common because she went through her daughter youthful years with no communication. And now they are the best of friends. So Janice is now feeling very comfortable with her mom that she can open up more. And she began to talk about her boyfriend. And she began to tell her mom about the status of her and her boyfriend and that what her mom didn't know is that when she moved out of her mom's house, and at the end of her second year in college, before she started her third year in college, when she moved out, she actually moved in with her boyfriend. Now, My would have I would have said a whole lot because I'm paying for a house or apartment that you didn't live in. I'm giving you a monthly allowance for an apartment that you didn't live in. You living with your boy. See, that's why I said I gotta go see that apartment and I gotta see you sign the lease. I gotta be there. But Betty didn't do that. So Janice is accepting money for an apartment that she did not live in. She's living with her boyfriend. Betty was very calm and collected. She just listened to her daughter. She didn't say anything. So Janice go on to say that, tell her about how she met her boyfriend and that the reason why she couldn't tell her mom about who she was dating, so it's because he works at the college. See, I thought when I first saw her with that strut, I thought he went to the college. I thought he was a student who was a mature man. Because you go to college, you got people of all ages in college. So I thought this was an old person in college because I could tell from that strut she had, she was with somebody very mature and much older than her. And yes, he's much older than her. He's 38. He was 38 when she moved in with him. 38 years old. And he's an academic counselor at the college. Not only that, he is a assistant to the director of the financial aid department. So he's the director assistant for the financial aid department. And so he started dating Janice in her sophomore year, but they was talking that first year. They was just talking. They wasn't dating, but they started officially dating that second year. And then she moves in at the end of that second year in college before she started the third year. Because, see, he didn't want her by herself during the course of that summer break before you start the third year. So she was living with him. Now she's able to tell her mom that's why she had to keep it a secret because no one could know that he was dating one of his students at the college. But Betty was shocked, but she handled it well. She felt like, okay, she opened the door for me to ask her some questions. So she asked Janice, what was it about this man that was appealing that she had to not confide in her and feel like she couldn't talk to her mom prior to now? And Janice went on to say, well, Mom, I don't know if you would accept the fact that he is a single father and he has a 7-year-old son that I am helping him to raise. And I'm helping him to raise his son. And I didn't know how you would handle that. But I feel like we are at a point in our relationship that I can talk openly to you. So Betty, being the calm person she is, she used wisdom and she just listened. She allowed her daughter to vent or talk about. There was a little venting there because I can tell by the way Betty told me what Janice said. She was tired of taking care of that 7-year-old, that she was having some problems with the 7-year-old, but because she did a little venting about it. But Betty stayed quiet and Betty allowed her daughter to talk. Because see, Betty had a secret of her own, After she, her and the old man of 10 years of dating, no longer dated because he was now living with his kids who took over his estate. And she was dating the young man that was 15 years younger than her. In the course of her dating him, her happiness only lasts 6 months. 6 months. I was hurt from my cousin because the young guy went back to his ex. Him and his ex had taken a break. You know how they young couples fall out. They get on each other's nerve. They curse each other out. The woman put him out the house, and then he found comfort in Betty's arms, in her bed. Yeah. And so then when his woman saw that he didn't care about being put out because he would find comfort somewhere else, she wanted him back. And he went back. 6 months after him and Betty seeing each other, he went back. So that kind of broke Betty's spirit a little bit. And I had to encourage my cousin and let her know that a man 15 years younger than you, came after you, baby. Trust and believe. Don't let him leaving take you back to thinking that you're not gorgeous, you're not beautiful, that you're not worthy. Don't let him leaving make you go back to that place, because he saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself, and you begin to allow that you didn't see in yourself shine through. You begin to walk in that newness of seeing that you was worthy, that you were beautiful, that you're a beautiful lady with a beautiful figure, and you got something to give to the world, even to that young man. But don't let that take that away from you because he's gone back to his woman. Still walk in that, because what you put out in the universe, I told Betty, that aura that you put out is what you're going to draw. And if you putting out that you're not worthy, if you're putting out that you don't have what it takes to get a man, if you're putting out that you're not beautiful, then you're not going to draw that to you. So know in your heart that you're gorgeous, and don't let this break your spirit. So I spoke that into her life. And so, but at the same time, I don't blame her for not telling her daughter, because her daughter don't need to know that. But anyway, back to Janice. So Janice is telling her mom all about this man that is much older than her. He's 38 years old. And she proceeded to tell her mom that how they have planned their life together. They planned their future. And when she began to share their plans for their future, I didn't hear anything in that plan about his future. It was all about what Janice was supposed to do in this plan. So Janice has asked him about marriage. She wanted to marry this man. She's feeling herself. She had a new strut. She wanted to marry him. So she was asking this man about them getting married in the future. And he tells her that, okay, I want us to continue to live with each other, and you have your support and your love. And after 5 years of us being a couple living under the same roof, I will marry you. But I have to know you're here for me and for my son and for the long haul. So that tells me after 5 years and you still here, then I'm going to marry you. That's what he tells her. And then he tells her, by no means are you to get pregnant until after we've been married for a year. So after a year, you're allowed to get pregnant. No means are you to even get pregnant. So you continue to take your birth control, because I'm not putting on a cover up. And then we will have a child together after we've been married for a year. So Betty is listening to all that her daughter is telling her about this man. And that it didn't end there, but The story would be too long if I tell you everything he was telling her that her role was in that household, what she was supposed to do. He also told her after she graduated school, he told her that he was giving her a certain amount of time to get her business together because she got her degree in business management. She was to open up a company, and this company is to help entrepreneurs get their business started. So she was to open up a business that helped entrepreneurs, people who wants to start their business or get into, you know, partnering with somebody to go into business. She was to help these people get their business started. And so he told her that he gave her a time period for how long she was supposed to get that up and running and get it going. And she was in the process when her and her mom had this conversation of getting her business going. Also, he gave her information about who she was to socialize with. She was not allowed to socialize with any of her young friends from high school. She can socialize with, she can talk to some of the friends that she met in college, but they was not allowed to her house. She was not allowed to tell anybody who she was in relationship with other than her mother, because even though she had graduated from college, he did not want his job to know that he had been dating someone from the college and that they were living together. So Betty, I was really impressed when she told me that she sat in the restaurant and she heard her daughter tell her all of this information. And then she decided to open up and to speak freely because she felt like they have now grown into that type of relationship where she can speak freely and tell her what she felt. And this is what she told her daughter. She said, I feel that this man is taking advantage of your youthfulness. He's taking advantage of your youthfulness and that he is manipulating you to be at his beck and call and to raise his son while he worked. And you have to be a mother to his son. And there's nothing wrong with that when they get married. But she felt like this man, the way he had given her orders and the things he had said, and he's keeping her away from her social life, that he was using her. He was manipulating her and using her youthfulness. And why did he not want to marry her sooner? Why give her a 5-year contract? You got to stay with me for 5 years before I can marry you. And she's been living with him for over 2 years. So why do I need a contract of 5 years? Have I not proven myself to you? And then you tell me not to have a child until after we've been married for a year. It just sounds kind of strange to Betty. And Betty straight up told her, you know, pay attention, stay alert, because it's a possibility he may not marry you. It's a possibility he giving you a pacifier. He putting a pacifier in your mouth to keep you quiet for at least 5 years until he come up with another excuse. And that's what Betty basically told her daughter. And they sitting in the restaurant when she had this conversation with her daughter. And that's all she said to her daughter. She gave her daughter that one sentence that I think he's manipulating you. He's taking advantage of your youthfulness. And I don't think that he's going to hold true to what he's saying, that he's putting a pacifier in your mouth to keep you quiet until he come up with another excuse in 5 years as to why he can't marry you. And she told her daughter, did you check to see if he's even divorced? I know he's a single father, but is he divorced? And it hit the fan when she said that to Janice. Oh, it hit the fan. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. Because Janice got up from the table She got up. She cursed her mom out. You hear me? She cursed her mom out. And that's when she told her mom that you're not equipped to speak to me about my relationship because you haven't been in a successful relationship. You had two failed relationships, my dad and the old man. And Betty said that was not a failed relationship. His kids took him away. The daughter said that's a failed relationship to me. She cursed her mom out and told her that she was not allowed to speak on her relationship because she wasn't equipped. And that hurt Betty feeling. Why you curse her out? Why you gotta curse her out to say that publicly in a restaurant full of people? Why you gotta curse your mom out who's been there for you and kept her mouth shut and then downplay anything you did, didn't talk you out of anything you wanted to do? And you're going to treat your mom like this? Now she is that little to you in your eyes that you're going to curse her out? And that's what she did. And see, the reason why I'm passionate about this, because Betty called me. She called me when she got home from the restaurant crying about what her daughter said to her. And I got two girls. And I'm like, oh no. So it took all that was in me not to say what I really wanted to say because I know who my cousin is, and I know that the advice I would have gave her is not who she is. And then at the same time, I did not want to say anything that would show that that would put, that may appear to be that I'm putting her daughter down. But at the same time, it was like, baby, mm-mm, I can't deal with that. You're not gonna curse me out. I've been supporting you, giving you money for an apartment that you don't live in, paying your college tuition, and you're gonna sit me in a restaurant and curse me out because I tell you what I see and what my woman intuition is telling me to tell you about this man. Oh baby, I would have been like, just let her, she gonna see. She gonna see in time. But at the same time, I had to calm myself because at the end of the day, I don't want to see my second cousin Janice hurt. I know she's going to have to go through something in order for her to gain that life wisdom, in order she going to have to go through some pain. Because now she just turned down the wisdom that her mama was giving her. And when you turn down the wisdom that your mama is giving you, now life got to give it to you. And you're going to have to experience it through some hurt and some pain. And that's what I know that she's going to have to experience. I didn't want to see her go through that, but she's going to have to go through it because at the end of those 5 years, she's going to see exactly what her mama told her is going to happen. And it may happen before those 5 years is up. She's going to have to experience that hurt and that pain. And the thing is, you don't want to see nobody hurt from their heart like that because everybody handles it differently. Some people, they go into a deep depression. Some people want to do some crazy things. And you don't want to see them. If mothers, we want to protect our kids from the hurt and the pain of life. But we understand sometimes the only thing we can do is sit back and give it to God. Let go and let God do it. Let God have it. We got to go into prayer. We got to go what we call into our prayer closet, and we got to get on our knees rather, and we got to intercede for them in prayer because we can't tell them nothing at that point. This girl has been having vitamin D from this man since her second, well, I'm assuming her second year in college. And it must have been her first vitamin D because she'd have lost her mind. This girl has lost her mind. Anytime you curse your mama out who's been good to you, you have lost your doggone mind. And that vitamin D is going to hurt your heart. You sitting up here thinking you got it going on, and now you growner than your mama, and you better than your mama, and she jealous of you because you got a man and she ain't got no man. She had two failed relationships, and you ain't gonna have no failed relationship. And basically you telling her this, baby girl, you will soon see, and I'm gonna pray for you, because that's a pain and a hurt you don't want to experience. And your mama is praying for you, because at the end of the day, when you do experience that man and what he's going to bring to the table after those 5 years, you want to know who you're going to be able to go back to with no judgment? Your mama. You want to know who's going to take you back in her loving arms and not bring up what happened? Your mama. That's who's going to help you. Your mama. And your cousin Judy going to be over there praying for you, because I don't want to see you hurt either. But I would have put a hurting on you if you would have talked to me like that. Ask my daughters. See what they tell you. My daughters are grown. One of them have kids, and I can give them a look sometime that let them know I ain't playing. Don't come at me like that. You ain't gonna come at me with disrespect. You're gonna respect me. You're gonna put some respect on my name and who I am. And I could still, to this day, I can look at them and get them that look. And even with my boys. So Betty and I are two different types of mothers. I don't criticize her for being the mother she is, because she has helped me become a softer mother by listening to me and encouraging me. And I try not to encourage her to be the type of mother I had to be raising for. So I hope that this message blesses you, encourages you. I pray that you have some thoughts of wisdom you can share about this message, because we're never too old to learn something from other people. And I would love to hear what you take away from it. How would you have handled this? What words of wisdom, if you're a young person, what words of wisdom would you give to Janice? Or what can you enlighten Betty about, and myself, about what happened, what took place here? Let's share that wisdom. I would love to hear your comment. And also, I invite you to click the subscribe button so that you can be informed weekly of the new life lesson that I will meet you at this podium, at this platform, to share with you, to get your insight, to get your wisdom. Let's talk about life. Let's help each other. Let's uplift each other. Let's encourage each other. I'm out. Be blessed. Peace, people. And until the next time, have a wonderful week.